obviously some executive reporting that's required. Built into the system are all kinds of great reports. In addition, you can call our SOC 24 hours a day, and they'll be happy to customize some reports for you as well. And there actually is our kind of a report generator built in there as well. And for those of you who really like to drill into stuff, if you subscribe to our IPS service, we actually have base out there too, so you can actually, do one of these SQL queries from hell, as I used to talk about. Another key benefit is compliance. It's a real focus for us. We stay on top of this stuff. This is really our value proposition. One today that's really in our key zone is the PCI Council. As you know, we're in V1.2 right now. They're about to release V1.3. It'll be out before the end of the year. Today, out of V1.2, if you just subscribe to my firewall and IDS service using VNSA, you'll pretty much cover 27 of the requirements. There's about 60, by the way. We are developing an application called PCI in a Box, and it will be available virtual. If you implement those packaging of a lot of these services, now what is in PCI in a Box? It's not only IDS and firewall, but it's application firewall, it's log management. It's the same kind of thing like a tripwire is for being able to do file integrity checking. So all these are in a special bundling. We've come up with some pricing that'll make it very attractive. Using that, along with some pieces that we have through a partnership that we have with 2 PCI-focused companies, you'll be able to meet more than 90% of all the requirements. Now, the reason I can't give you 100% is some of this does require still you doing some work, like typing up some procedures and obviously checking off some of the checkboxes in the forms. But 90% will be covered through this PCI device. It's coming out later next month. It's really a combination of all of our services and a nice bundling of them, and some new applications, too, that are coming out. So what's the problem with the cloud computing world? The cloud computing world, besides its obvious name, probably implies right away what the issue is. It's a distant kind of, nebulous ionization of electrons. Well, the issue really is that the security component of it, like so many things, was never built into it. Now, there were some security features, don't misunderstand me, but the concept of total security was really not, they didn't build into VMware like, say, they did with Linux, an IP tables, or there isn't, an automatically like a snort-like application that was provided by VMware ESX. So it's not in the infrastructure, you've got to put it in. The other problem, too, with the cloud is it does offer great flexibility, but what we call it is virtual sprawl. And that is, it's really easy for someone to build an application and provide it as a public cloud offering, and then all of a sudden, what's going on behind the scenes is really, as I said earlier, we just begin to amplify the problem bigger and bigger and bigger. So for cloud computing, we actually developed a very specialized application. It's called VSS. It's not for everyone. It's developed potentially for those who might be an application developer building cloud applications. It ties in directly into the hypervisor. We only offer firewall and IDPS with it today, but that's really all you'd really want it to do, because actually it's going to not only take a look at the physical NIC and also at all the virtual switches, but also allow a review of all the traffic the hypervisor manages and sees through it. Very easy to implement for us, a nice feature. So if by some chance you are in the cloud computing business, or if we call it the multi-tenant business. Now that's not to discount this over VNSA. The nice thing about the virtual NSA application is that though it doesn't integrate directly into the hypervisor, it does integrate with the different switches, both the physical NICs as well as the virtual switches. Again, VSS, the main difference is that it's a little different piece of horsepower in the fact that it's designed really to say, okay, well, what's going on between all these different virtual environments? Another use for it, too, I do have some private customers, non-cloud providers or non-data centers, that are starting to use this where they have compliance issues because they have departmental segmentation. So some very large banks have mortgage divisions and have obviously their banking divisions, and might even have a separate, some kind of other trading account business. And they need to keep all of those segregated and different, but they want to use the virtual environment as a way to keep their costs down. In that case, then, this is also a very good application, because in this case, this is the only way, truly through compliance, we can make sure that each of those 3 areas stays independent and can control what's going on between them. So basically, I think that's the quick overview of it. I think what we really want to try to help you all understand is that we have both a virtual implementation of managed services as well as a physical. your choice. The nice thing about the virtual, you provide the hardware, it scales and grows with you. It's fully featured. We manage it completely on the inside. You've still got to manage your own ESX horsepower and configurations. We'll provide you support and assistance in how to configure up each instance. But one of the nice things, too, I think, is because we're so focused on compliance, our goal is really to deliver to you some full protection. And we're there 24 hours a day. That's our goal, is to become an extension of your staff and to be able to provide you this real-time proactive threat protection. So with that, Steve, I'm going to throw it back over to you guys and see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Bert. Did we get any questions, Valerie?
I don't see any yet.
Okay. If anybody's got anything, they can go ahead and put it in, and even though we'll be finished up here in a minute, we will go ahead and get a response back to you after the webinar also. Thanks for everybody for spending a little time with us this morning. Hope this was somewhat enlightening, and you get an idea of what's actually available from a virtual managed security solution. Also keep in mind a lot of the benefits of this can also be attained in a physical environment just the same. In fact, there's even a few additional things that can be done in a physical environment. So keep that in mind. We're going to be offering a repeat of this session on Thursday at 1 o'clock. So if you have somebody else in your organization or somebody you know that you'd like to have sit in, shoot us an email at sales@centrinetcorp.com, and we'll get an invitation out and get an opportunity to actually see it again if you'd like. Also, if you'd like to have any more information, you can shoot us an email at sales@centrinetcorp.com, and we will be glad to set up a one-on-one session where we can actually talk more about your particular environment and how this would work, and even do a full-blown demonstration of the various services. And last but not least, don't forget, tomorrow we begin a 7-week webinar series entitled The Building Blocks of Virtualization. We're going to be covering a real variety of solutions that are out there today, everything from VMware to Citrix to user virtualization to server virtualization and so forth. The first one is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you have not received an invitation, shoot us an email again at that same address, and we'll be glad to get one off to you right away. You don't want to miss this series. It's going to be a great series. And that's about it. Bert, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today, and thanks everyone for